Hey, Steve here. I just wanted to do another quick video on the installation process of entry signals since I've had a couple calls. So what you're going to need to do is you want to go to Tremper.com website and go to Tools, which takes you here, and then Entry Signals. This file here is the one that gets changed all the time. You could tell that the current version that we're working on is right here. It'll give you a little maybe brief description or something, and then if you want to know any of the settings, they're all right here. And this is the video that I'm going to actually replace with this one that we're doing right now. But and then there's some more things on here you can check out too. But needless to say, this is the link that that you want to update when it says time to update, or if you want to download. Now, what I used to have is each individual indicator, and that just kind of got cumbersome. So now I just have them all into here along with the templates in the workspace, so that way you just have to download just the one file. And if you don't want the others, you could rather just don't do anything with them, or just remove them. You can remove them altogether, or just obviously don't put them on a chart, and they're just not going to hurt anything, and just use the one you want. If you want them all there, then they're all there for you. So once you download that, and you have to know where it goes, typically it's in the downloads folder, but on your machine might be a little different. And then in this case, you would go to your tools and import, and then NinjaScript add-on. And when you go there, it's going to take you to your Explorer, your Windows Explorer, and you can go find, the file typically downloads, and you can go from there. Now, if you have installed any of these individually, you will need to remove them if you get a duplication error. It'll say duplicate trying to reload it. So, and that's the case, you would need to go to Tools, and then remove NinjaScript add-on, and then it'll pull up the list, and you would have to remove the ones. And this is how you would do it if you're not using them and don't want them anyway. You would go in here and you remove and click the ones that you want to remove, and then hit remove, and then wait, and then click the other one and remove and wait, and then it takes a little while, but then close it, and then that's how you would remove it. If you've never downloaded them individually and all you've been doing is downloading the entry signals zip file combined, the batch, the bundle as I call it, I might actually change that to entry signals bundle maybe up here. That's what maybe I'll do. But in any event, if you've been doing that and then you do it again, it's just going to override. It'll ask you when you want to install it, do you want to override? And you would say yes. And do you trust this third party person? You'd say yes, or you can click that button so it doesn't keep popping up all the time if you want. Otherwise, don't. In any event, you'll get through there. It'll go through the motions, and then it's gonna, more than likely 90% of the time, because it's dealing with some issues internally, it's going to say shutdown is required. So you have to watch and read the little pop-up that pops up. It'll say shutdown required. If that's the case, just turn off Ninja and turn it back on again, and that's kind of simple. So then from there, what you would do is you could just create your own chart like you normally would, to go to chart, or you could go to the workspaces, because in here it opens up a entry signals the pets, and because these are all names of pets. So it'll open up this file, and you can kind of move them around, change it, make the size of it. If you don't have Discipline Manager, you can turn that off. If you don't want to see Market Analyzer and daily volumes and how much time to roll over, if that's over your head, just kill that. In any event, it'll pull all these up. And so I'll just take gold, for instance. So you would come in here, and if for some reason in the past you have memorized or saved a template, if you ever come into here and say save, and if you saved it as default, then any time from this point forward coming in, it's just going to go to those default settings. So it's probably a good practice to go ahead and say template and reset. And if you notice, there's a few changes there, little minor ones quickly. And if you don't like those changes, you can certainly change them back. Like, for instance, I have take screenshots on because I like to see the screenshots. So that's not part of the default. So I have to override that default. And then if I wanted to, I could save the template again. But if you save it as default Anytime you install the new version, you should get in the habit of saying reset, just to put it back to, because we've, made changes to times. We might change, something here, might change something here, and you would never know that, because if it's defaulting into your template, then you'll just never know that. Notice here that there's, special time for the gold open and things like that. So if you do want any of these, you would have to click them. Let's say, for instance, if you wanted to do the news for crude, let's say, you would maybe say open at 8 or whatever time you wanted, and then you'd make this go off at, say, 9:28 or something, and then you could turn this one on and have it go back on at 9:35, and then close, and then go off at noon, or you could even turn it on again from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock for the last hour or something, whatever you want. You could do that. So I'll just go back to template and hit reset to go back to my defaults. So that's how you would do it here. These templates for the ATM strategy are defaulted in here. So, and they're also installed, so you don't have to make them. Now, if you want to change them, let me open this up a little bigger. If you want to change them, you would come into your chart trader and you would go to the edit button and you would change it. And if you want to put stop strategy or whatever, and then you would just save it as whatever you want. Now, if you save it with this name, it will when next time you upload, it will override it. So you might want to save it with something else, like, maybe put your initials on the end of it or something like that. And then in your settings, in your indicators, you would have to then specify that ATM, whatever it is, because it's going to default to this one here. So you want to change that if you have your own special ATM. So that's how that would work there. And then obviously the account. Now, if you put on your indicators the account, it's going to default to SIM. And if you notice, I put on an Apex account. I have a bunch of other accounts that I trade and play with. But in this case, I have it going to this one. If you want to see the charts and you want to see them come on the chart, you have to have this one on the same account. Because if the chart trader is on SIM, you're not going to see the trades that are taken on the account that you've just assigned inside the indicator. And you'll hear it go on, or you'll see there's an order, or maybe you won't see there's an order. Like, where's that order? You won't know it. Maybe you'll see it in your control panel and under positions here. You'll see it here, but you don't see it on the chart. That's because this right here is on the wrong account. You're looking at the wrong account. You have to have that down there, and you'll be able to see it. And this here also dictates this. If you click in one of the corners, now this is a separate indicator here. This is the status box, which is free. You can download it. And here are the parameters. If you don't want to see the financials, if you don't want to see the ATM, you don't want to see statistics, you could see it makes it a little smaller. I like to see all those, so I just put them on. But the point of it is that's a separate. But all this information comes from here. In this case, it goes to a gross, whereas this is programmed to go to the net. So it will take your net profit, assuming you have commissions configured in here. And that's a different video on a different day. And Ninja's got some videos on how to put your commissions in here. But I have all my commissions in here, so therefore I like the status box for two reasons. One, I don't want to have to use 2 inches of screen space here when I could just have it on a little tiny box over here. And again, if you double click on one of the corners, you can go in there and change the fonts and colors and things. I don't know about the fonts so much, but you can change the colors if you want to change it. If you want to move it up and down, you got your margins X and Y. If you want it longer, you can make it longer. You can move it around all you want. But needless to say, that's a separate issue. It's free. You can download it. But getting back to these, so then once you come in here and you've changed your settings, don't forget you want to unpause it and turn it on when you're ready to trade. So that's it for the installation. And if there's any problems with the install, then I would put that back. I would recommend going to a couple places here. First and foremost, troubleshooting. Right here is troubleshooting. If I can get on it, right there. Click on that link, and that will take you to the troubleshooting page. Typically, if you're not executing trades, that's the first most common one. And I've added this as time goes on, and maybe I can rearrange it. Eventually, this is going to go in the knowledge base, and this is another way to get a hold of me too. This little chat feature. It's a new little toy I got a few weeks ago, and you're not going to get anybody but me. So if I'm not here, I'm not going to answer you. I have it on my phone too, so I try to answer it. But if I'm not available, and the knowledge base isn't turned on yet. Eventually, they want me to, of course, subscribe to the service where there's, it's being answered 24/7. But I haven't done that yet. So in the meantime, you can try it. I would recommend putting an email address in there. That way, I could give you your answer when I get back, and I could shoot you the answer if I don't catch you live. But that's a way to catch me live. And the other option would be to just reach out to, if you go to community, social hour, as I'm trying to veer any kind of technical issues to social hour. That way, even if I'm not there, somebody there is typically, there's only a few people there, so it's not, just meet them and all that. But social hour is a good place to meet other traders, and a few of the guys in there are pretty versed on this. So if you have any issues with Ninja in general, even with these indicators or anything else with Ninja, they're pretty they're pretty savvy there. And the other thing is the traders group in Skype. We have the traders group, and basically the motto there is just help, traders helping traders. And I try to get in there as much during the day. Sometimes it's gets busy, and I don't, I'm not watching all the posts. But you can always send me a private one. But if in here, but again, if I'm not answering, there's so many people that are so knowledgeable, other traders. It doesn't even have to do with any of these. It could just anything to do with trading. Options, there's even option guys in there. So most, I would say, are futures and doing what we do, but there's always going to be somebody, and there's some computer guys in there, and I've seen some chats going back and forth on how do I fix the, crash on a BIOS machine and, whatever for computer business. So, we're just traders helping traders, and that's just a chit chat second. That's free, and that's, 24/7, 365 kind of thing. If you do need if you can't get a hold of me here, and you obviously need some special attention and technical support or something, I would reach out with this one here. It just takes you to my calendar. You can schedule an appointment, and then we'll meet, preferably on Zoom, because we could share screens. But if you don't do that, I've done phone too. So whatever we need to do, we'll get you worked up. So other than that, you could obviously the YouTube channel, if you haven't already subscribed for notifications, you could do that. For instance, this video that's going to be going up, you'll be able to get notified on. The traders group, and then this is the trade room for the morning. This really doesn't have any talk. It's just basically my screens are on. You could see them to see if these. Basically, I'm just showing these screens here, so you can kind of see if your screens are matching my screens, and that kind of thing. And you have the ability to talk if there's a problem. I don't have a microphone on that computer, so it's not. But I could chat, and if anything, I could join on my other computer and we could talk. But basically, there's not a lot of talking. Everybody's just doing their own thing, and just kind of keep it in the background. And so that's all there is to that. All right. Other than that, that's all I got for this video. So I hope that helps. Thanks. Oh, and incidentally, if you do want to get any of those, there's a lot of these are free. The ATR projections is free. Price extensions, that's a little bit more advanced, but that's that's a freebie one. Support and resistance lines, just some the status box is my favorite. That's the blue in there. Those are all free. Target zones free. Oh, and that's another thing, is I typically will have target zones on here. You can watch the video on that, but I do typically will have target zones on here in the trade room. I have them on. Obviously Nasdaq's set a little bigger, but you can watch the video on that alone. But that's a freebie. These were all indicators I made for myself with the thoughts maybe of them going into the bots. This bot is obviously kind of taking the back seat a little bit because Helix has then come a lot full strength ahead, so that's a little bit more. But maybe in the future they'll be incorporated in here. Matter of fact, the mainstay of these was the trade management, which is no longer here because it's now in Helix. And then the other one was entry zones, which is no longer here because now it's in Helix. If the target zones actually gets incorporated into Helix, then obviously that would be gone too, and it just goes into Helix. But for the foreseeable future, these are just going to stay all free. So you can go in there and see. Obviously, the discipline manager is not free. That's based on it. So you can download it right here. What else? But and this one here. So the status box. Watch the video. Check it out. It's not that long. I should probably revise it. It's been around a while. But there's the file for it. Just download it. All I need is you to go to the contact page and fill this out and just give me your machine ID. That's what makes it go. It'll go on for, I think, whatever, 20 days or 7 days or whatever days long it is set for. But then at some point you're going to pop up and it'll say, hey, your thing's expiring. And all I need is a machine ID. So if you send me the machine ID, I'll be able, that's the only way I could locate you in Ninja Systems system. So I got to go into their database, search out you by the machine ID, and then turn it on and extend it that way. That's the only way I can do it. Other than that, I'll leave it there. All right, thanks. Bye.